Today's speaker, Soumitra Mahajan, is well known in his field of work as one of the most promising entrepreneurs in the language services industry. He has been running his league under the name Flatworld Language Solutions since 2013. So almost 7+ years he is into this business. Let us get to know this polyglot a bit more so that we can relate with what he will be talking. Although his linguistic voyage started way back in the year 2000, so almost 20 years back, Soumitra has been working professionally in the field of languages for the last 12 years. To back up his profession, he has completed his bachelor in French literature from the University of Pune, has completed a diploma in French as a foreign language from the University of Paris, France. Wow. He has also completed 3 years of learning Spanish from the University of Pune. He has spent around 3 years in Brazil for business and cultural exchange purpose, where he mastered the Portuguese language. So in short, master of French, Spanish, Portuguese, along with our own Hindi, Marathi and English. So in all total, he knows he can speak 6 languages. That's why he calls himself a linguist. Apart from that, he has an MBA in international business with him and an experience of approx 8 years as an international business development manager and institutional relations development manager. Wow. He himself is a translator, interpreter, and also a trainer. You can visit his tastefully decorated office in Kothur to see what his clients say about him. I have personally visited his office and I would really recommend each one of you to visit his beautiful, beautiful office. He is married to Neha and they have a beautiful daughter, Tara. Without talking much time, I will now let Soumitra take us all through the world of languages. Over to you, Soumitra. Thank you. Soumitra, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Mahesh, for that wonderful introduction. That was nice. That was good. Very nice. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Buenas tardes, boa tarde, bonsoir, and आपण म्हणत नाही, but then शुभ संध्याकाळ, if I really have to translate that. But yes, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Soumitra Mahajan, as Mahesh introduced and spoke a lot about me. So we'll quickly start with the training, with the webinar. I'm sorry, I keep on saying training because it's just that I'm a trainer. So whenever we are starting a Zoom meeting, I'm used to calling it a meeting or a training. So let's start with this one. Okay, someone just said, can you be a bit loud? Is my voice audible to everybody? Is that good? Can you hear me properly? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you,
Mahesh. Okay,
yes.
Great. So we'll start with this webinar. First, let me start the screen sharing so that you can see. Okay, great. So languages are for everyone. That's what I keep on talking, because many of us always think of, oh, language. It's something mysterious, something nice about languages. And so what happens is we are always thinking, or we are always wowed about the language. So I'm just going to give you a quick glimpse into what exactly languages are and how do we learn them and what is the use of it and everything. So let's get started. Agenda for today, it's a very simple agenda. You've already got the artwork of the webinar, and it says invest in yourself, learn a foreign language. We'll be looking at pros and cons of learning a foreign language. Then we'll go ahead with prosper in the times of economic crisis. How you do that, we'll get back to you. We'll brief you in a while. And then be local, go global. Now we're talking about being local and buying local and going global. So we'll talk about that as well. And then there is a surprise takeaway in the end for everyone. Sarang is ready with that. So Sarang will be sharing that with you. I'll tell you, Sarang, exactly when you need to share that. Okay, so let's get started. Purposes of learning a language. It's always whenever you want to learn a language, many people, many persons, many students and professionals, they come to me. Just 1 second, Sarang, am I supposed to look at the chat if someone is not listening or something like that?
No, Samitra. No, Samitra.
Okay, great. Fine, no problem. So Sarang and Mahesh, you'll look after the chat now. I'll start with the session. First, before we go to the purposes of learning, Sarang, are we ready with the poll?
We are going to start in next 3 minutes. I will run meanwhile. You can just introduce poll.
Okay. So nothing. I just wanted to know what is the participants or audience approximately. So we've designed a simple small poll. Sarang will share that with you. Don't worry, you are not signing out of the session or something like that, because many times you will think that something is happening. I was watching a slideshow and something suddenly pops up. So don't worry, it's a small poll where we would like you to answer with simple answers like your age group, your gender, and your profession. That's all. We just want to know the cross section of what the audience is like, so that we can guide and answer your questions properly in the end of the session. So we'll begin this one. Okay. So we'll start with purposes of learning a foreign language. We always come to the first question is, oh, I want to learn a foreign language, and then you just don't know which language to learn. Many of you come to me and ask me which language should we learn and how should we learn and where should we learn, all the WH type of questions, So we will be looking into the WH side of the language learning. But first, what we need to do is we need to decide the purpose of learning, because that is what is going to give you the power to continue learning or to stop learning or to learn the limited scope of language or whatever you want to learn. So it's very important, and the purposes can be varied. It's not that you have to have a purpose behind learning a language or learning anything for that matter. But specifically talking about languages, it's better to have a purpose. What happens is when you face some difficult times in learning language, because we're learning language, so there are some difficult times to learn a language, and so that's the point when you are exactly know why you're learning that language, and that will help you to go ahead with the learning or to cross that difficult path. And it also helps you to take a call on your own career or why you're learning it. Shows you how to go about it, where to go, how much to learn, how much not to learn, or how much time and money you should invest on learning a foreign language. So the purposes can be varied. So for example, let's have a purpose, something as simple as you want to build a good career around with languages. There's a small spelling mistake there. I'm sorry for that. Okay, so promotion at work. You're looking at again promotion at work. So many of them have told you that by learning a foreign language you can boost your career, or you can really go far with that career. So that's why many of you want to learn a foreign language. Then there are people who are just curious, plain simple curious to know what exactly is a foreign language or how does that culture work. Okay, there's a poll right now going on. So you guys can, I'll give you 2 minutes. Just click on those things and we'll continue with the topic.
Soumitra, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
We are
yeah.
going to run one by one question. So currently
Okay.
it's age question. After that, I will run a profession question. So you can start your, you can
Continue.
whatever. Yeah.
Okay, okay, fine. So there are 3 to 4 questions. We would really love to know what exactly the outcome of it is. By the way, it's just a talk. Okay, so I'm just having my cup of hot water because these days it's good. Or and since I'm a trainer, I always keep on drinking or sipping hot water in my classes, and or at times coffee. So today I'm going up with hot water. Anyway, it is really good to drink hot water these days because they say you have to wash your hands and drink hot water and maintain social distancing. So I'm doing my bit. Just you can take your call and do it. If you want to have some coffee, you can have it. No problem with that. I'm completely alright with that. Okay, so let's continue with the purpose part of the training of the webinar. Now there are people now, since everybody is in a lockdown position, lockdown condition, everyone is sitting home, and of course we have our work, we have our daily daily mundane tasks to do, maybe a few add-on ones also, and then you get some time, and then obviously you turn to Netflix or Amazon Prime or some type of OTT and go for so you watch some series and something. So that also is one of the main reasons why we saw, when we saw us, it was, I mean, when we got to know what this is, when exactly, when Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara was released, and then there was a certain surge in people asking for, मुझे Spanish सीखना है, क्योंकि वो Tomatina मुझे जाना है. So a lot of people are influenced by these type of web series or movies or serials, so they come to us with that. But I mean, that's perfectly all right. It's not that you need to have a deep purpose, or we're not talking about who am I and everything. We're talking about I want to learn a foreign language and why. That's it. So a purpose of that can be as simple as I watched Money Heist and I want to learn Spanish because it sounded really nice. Or maybe I want to learn that song Bella Ciao and I want to understand that. It can be as simple as that. And then there are people who are traveling abroad. They would like to talk and interact with the natives and locals so that they can get more insights into that country and they can make most of their traveling part. Then there can be second source of income, which can also be a substantial and a very serious and right way of thinking at it. I mean, it can be a second source of income. These days, I mean, conditions are so that you cannot really rely on only one source of income, though you need to have multiple sources of income. So probably you can look at languages as a secondary source of income, and that can be really helpful in times like these we are. Okay, the next poll is about your occupation. You can just put in there, and that's it. We're going ahead with the next one. Okay, so second source of income, TL means translation, TR means training. So I'll be talking about both the applications here in the presentation ahead. Then there can be a simple purpose, something like my friend speaks one foreign language. Okay, so I also want to learn a foreign language. That's fine. That's fine. It's good because what happens is when you're talking, see the duration and the application of what you're learning is different in all these options. I mean, career, it's a different thing. Curiosity, web series, you've watched a web series and you want to learn, good, one thing. Traveling, you're going there for 2 days. You're not going there for business, you're not going there for job, you're not going there for any discussions or any profound interactions, anything like that, or research or something. You're just going there, traveling, going for Tomatina, come back, have fun. That's it. So that can be a reason. But then when you know that you're going there just for 15 days and you want to learn that, then you can limit your scope of learning. That is what I'm coming to. And then I heard there is a lot of scope a lot of scope outside the country if you know Spanish, French, German, blah 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 blah, all the languages. So there can be you must have heard from your colleagues, your student friends, your peers saying that, or someone in the family who said there is a lot of scope for foreign languages. So you can think about that, and that can be a purpose. And the best part of it, there, I mean, if you look at it, these are not really very serious types of purposes. It's very simple purpose. And one purpose can be that I just want to learn it. That's it. I'm not traveling. I don't want to go for any career in foreign language. You just want to learn because I have time. As simple. That's fine. That's fine. That's perfectly all right. So what we're talking here is basically learning and application of foreign languages. The difference in learning and application. So what happens is many times, let me put it in a small perspective. Learning a language, it's very simple. It's learning a language can be hello. Okay. So yeah, so learning a language is like, I always keep on talking about this. Learning a language is like having 1 liter of milk. You know, I always give this example. So, and I love it, and because it's just so right. The thing is, learning a language is like buying a liter of milk. Then from that 1 liter of milk, what you want to do is up to you. Okay, you want to make ghee, you want to make dahi, you want to make basundi, you want to make paneer, whatever you want to make, it's up to you. So, but when you buy it, you say, let's say, I want to have 100 grams of paneer, because these days a lot of people are into cooking, so probably they are now into making paneer at home also. Yeah, so so that can be one of the purposes also. I want to make 100 grams of paneer because for this recipe I need it, or I need whipped cream for cakes. A lot of people, even including myself, I keep on baking cakes at home. So yeah, something like that. So making something like whipped cream, I need to have X amount of milk in the first place. So learning a language is like this: is learning, or you can take any course for that matter, any graduation for that matter. You must have seen around you many people who have done engineering and masters and MBA and MS and everything, and then they're working in banks. There is no correlation. No. So what happens is, what you make out of whatever you have done is up to you, and that defines you. I mean, there is a funny meme saying in India, people after graduating, they ask what do they want to do in life. They don't ask it first. So something like that. So this is what career or graduation for us is, or this is language learning for us. Language learning, you learn a language and then you decide what you do with that. Of course, if you have, okay, I'm learning it for a specific purpose, that's a different story. But it's just like building a skill. Okay, so usage of the skill, of the knowledge, let's go ahead. There are 2 usages. Okay, mainstream career. Okay, mainstream career, something like you've done. I mean, in India, we always talk about careers as doctors, lawyers, engineers. That's it. CA probably. Yeah. So we don't really talk about BA as a mainstream career. We have, so currently, or for last few years, we've started talking about it. But let's say 20 years back, there was no career in BA. कुछ नहीं हुआ तो BA इंग्लिश कर दिया, कुछ नहीं हुआ तो जर्नलिज्म कर दिया. ऐसे भी बहुत सारे लोग हुआ करते थे. Now कुछ नहीं हुआ तो foreign language सीख ली. So there used to be people like that, or even people, even today they are they look at languages as something value-added service, not a mainstream career. And that's what the difference is. I mean, the best part of learning a language is that it can be your mainstream career as well as a value-added service. Okay, so mainstream career can be anything. We'll talk about those mainstream careers in a while. But till then, you need to understand that there are two different types of usages of knowledge or skill that you've mastered. Okay, mainstream career and value-added services. So let's go ahead and language learning WHS. The first question is why. That defines your path, that defines your duration. Because if you want to go, let's say someone comes up and says, okay, in these Corona times, offices are closed, I cannot buy anything, I cannot sell anything, and I just want to go to China and curse the Chinese for Corona. That can be a purpose, but then you just know that to do that, you need a 20 hours course or 25 hours course, a quick one, 8 days course, and that's it. Boom. You learn, you go there because you don't want to listen and respond to anyone, right? You just want to go there, blah, 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 blah. Aja wapas. This is only the thing that you want to do. So you know the purpose, you know the duration. Okay, I need to do only this much. I don't want to do anything else. Or someone, then there are people who want to go on project, implementation to Europe, to Japan, I don't know where, to many places, and then they want to learn that language because they want to build rapport with their counterpart out there. And so there is a deeper language required there that cannot be something like an 8 days workshop. Okay, so that's why, that is the why of learning language. Which language depends on your why. Okay, so as I said, if you want to go to China, you'll need to learn Chinese. So once you have that why in place, you'll know which language to learn. And then you go, how much time? The simple question again, how much time? See, language learning, as I said in the previous slide, we're talking about mainstream career and value-added service in your career. Mainstream career will require the time that it requires for any mainstream career. For example, engineering takes 4 years. Okay, language learning takes 3 years. BA, BCom, BSc, any graduation you take, it takes 3 years, and so does language. So if you want to learn language as a career and you want to get into languages, you want to learn foreign languages, then the easiest way to calculate the time is by knowing, okay, how much do I want to get into it seriously. You want to create a secondary source of income, then you need to know substantial the language. May not be MPhil or PhDs, but at least masters, or maybe let's say BA, at least a graduation level of course. You can ask, you can learn for foreign language. Then, so that tells you that you want to learn. You need to learn three years or 2 years or 1 year. Okay, where we are in the best city probably for language learning. We're in Pune. Well, at least I am from Pune. I don't know the most of the people in the webinar. So in Pune, we have a lot of language learning. Foreign language learning has a long history and tradition in Pune. I mean, just as simple as the German teaching in Pune started in 1914. So they in 2014 they celebrated their 100 years of German in Pune. Of course, later on it was more formalized in the 70s and 60s. But yes, it started in 1914. So learning a language, a foreign language in Pune is very easy because you get a lot of institutes doing that, a lot of private players in language teaching, and there are some international bodies also present in Pune for international certification. And so you need to understand there is, okay, that part is language learning. You learn a language at a local level and that's it. But then there are courses, there are international courses which will which will be very powerful on your CV. So, for example, on your CV, you say, I've done XYZ level of learning German. And then it makes a sense because you're talking about international certification, or at least a Pune University certification. So that it adds value to your CV. Learning a foreign language for a month on some app may not be that recognized in the world, in the working world. But yes, most of the times, if you are learning from a government university or from an international university, yes, there are chances that it is acknowledged in the world, and so it adds value to your CV. Now, how much money again comes to the same question: how much time you want to learn? Okay, there are courses available from, let's say, 3,000 rupees to 30,000 rupees to 40,000 rupees. But then you need to understand where exactly you want to put your money. Okay, so the money matters. Money is dependent on all these first four questions, so that you know where exactly you're putting money and how much you're putting that. Then going ahead, now we have been, I mean, for the last whatever 20 minutes, 20 minutes, we have been talking about learning a foreign language only. But talking about mainstream careers, is it only the foreign languages that you can make a career out of? That's the question. The question that you see on your screen right now is what happened in 2016. Any guesses? Can anyone just put in the comment box maybe for an instant? Okay, so what happened in 2016? I'll go to that point. In 2016, a very big thing happened in India. We changed the way we work. Okay, the way we use our phones. Any clue with that? In 2016, actually, Jio was launched. Now, what has Jio to do with learning a foreign language? Well, if you look at it, not really anything. But if you think slightly deeper, you will understand that in 2016, when Jio was launched, many of us got internet. Okay, many of us, right from the construction site worker. There is a construction going on in my next to my office. So the construction site worker got internet in his hand. Okay, and just 1 second. Okay, yeah, and what happened is when Jio was launched, everyone got internet. When everyone got internet, all the sellers, they got a new client, and everyone wants to reach that new client. But the only problem to reach them is they do not speak English. Not all the time. I mean, if you look at the statistics, something around 30 or 35% of the population in the country speaks English. That's all. I mean, English is important, yes, but to the 35% of the crowd. The remaining 65% of the crowd does not speak English. They speak their local languages. Their local languages, and that's what exactly people are looking for now. Many companies, we get a lot of work to translate many things from English to local languages, or in local languages like from Hindi to Marathi, or from Hindi to Punjabi, or Tamil to Gujarati, or something like that. Because it again depends on the crowd that we have, on the audience that we have. So a lot of opportunities these days are coming up for Indian languages as well. So if you know an Indian language, that can be served as an additional source of income for you. Yeah, of course, there's a difference. There's a difference when you want to translate thing and when you want to speak thing. Okay, same. For example, I mean, I can speak. I have voice does not mean I can sing. Okay, not everybody can sing. We have all of us. We have sound, voice, but we can't sing. Otherwise, the life of others will be in danger. So we we prefer not to sing. But yeah, that is the same thing. Just because you know a language does not mean you can translate. You need to practice. It's a different skill. You need to work on that. Okay, so it's not that you're looking only at learning a foreign language, translating a document just because you know Marathi or Tamil or Kannada. I don't know. So it's not about that. It's about you need to sit back and understand what exactly the language is and how you need to translate, because every sector has a different language. Trust me. And when you take a legal document and you take a literature document and then you take an engineering document, these are three different sets of documents, three different sets of languages. We need to understand this. We need to understand that that language, that sector has a specific language, specific line of words, specific sentence construction. We need to understand that, and that's where, of course, we all have an opportunity. We need to work on that. We all have opportunity. We just need to look at it as a serious business. Okay, so application of languages. We'll talk about application of languages. Since for now we have spoken about the learning of languages, which language, why, foreign language, Indian language, whatever it is, we've learned that. We've seen that. Now we're just shifting our focus to the application part of the language. Now we've seen the learning of language. Now let's look at the application part of the language. Okay, and hello. Okay, so it's very simple. According to the European Commission's Directorate General of Translation, the language industry comprises of activities such as A, translation, B, interpretation, C, language teaching, D, software and website internationalization. That's a word newly derived, to translate, localization, website localization. That's a new field coming up, which means you're not only translating a website, you're actually localizing it. That means you're using the nuances of the local reader or audience. And so that's a different skill again, because it is not only translating word by word, but it is basically trying to translate from one culture to another culture. So there's a famous story of Coca-Cola, which we were taught in our colleges, or we were told about in our colleges, and that was Coca-Cola made a paperback advertisement that one person comes and he's tired and he drinks Coca-Cola and he's energetic. And remember those book advertisements we used to have? I don't remember what exactly we call it, but then you have to just flash those pages, and then it's like a cartoon. Okay, so it looks like a moving person, but it's actually a painting. So what happens is, in a normal case, the person sees, okay, a tired person comes and then he drinks Coca-Cola and then he's energetic. And they went with the same idea to Middle East, where they speak Arabic, and Arabic is right to left. They read right to left, so they read the advertisement ulta. So they read it the other way, by saying, but they saw it as if the person was energetic. Person comes, drinks Coca-Cola, and he's all done and he's tired. So that's the problem, and that's not exactly what translation in this case is. We need to localize the content. We need to understand the cultural aspect of the content. Okay, so that's what we're talking about: software and website localization. There is a lot of new things coming up with AI and IoT and neural, what is that? NLP, Yeah. So neural networks and neural language programming and everything. So we are coming up with that translation as well. So okay, going ahead, we have a few more activities under language industry, and that is language technology tools. We've seen something like Google Translate. Now that's a tool. Okay, that's a machine translation tool. And then there are a few companies in the language field who are coming up with which are coming up with new language technology tools to facilitate translation and to increase the speed and productivity of a translator. So that is there. Then international conference organization, we are looking at that also when we say language learning, language application. Then subtitling and dubbing. Of course, there is a lot of content coming in Spanish, and if you, I mean, just go on Prime and Amazon Prime, and you see any series, and you see an option of subtitles in, and then you have 10 languages, right? From Polish, Finnish, German, Japanese, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, all those languages. So there is a lot of subtitling and dubbing is happening because a lot of content is being exchanged in countries. So you always get that option. My daughter was watching a cartoon, and her cousin, her sister came on. She was like, "Wait, let's watch this cartoon in Marathi." And then that English cartoon, she just changed the language and put it into Marathi. It sounded a bit funny because when we're just not used to watching Marathi cartoons yet. But yeah, it sounds funny. But yes, that option is there and that works. Someone has to be there. Someone is sitting there and translating that thing or dubbing that thing. So there's a lot of application of language in these sectors as well. Okay, and linguistic consultancy. It's simple way. You just don't need to translate anything. You can just give this consultancy to a prospective buyer, saying, I have this problem. I want to enter. Let's say it's an Indian company, and they want to enter MNC. They want to enter the Middle East region, and they come up to you and say, what do we do? How do we translate, or do we localize, or do we hire a person there, or do we use some type of technology? What do we do? So that's linguistic consultancy. We basically tell people about what is available and what is right for their product and their market. So that's what linguistic consultancy is. These are, if you look at it, these are actually well-defined activities of languages, and I'm sure that most of us might not have seen language learning in this light, because we generally don't. Language learning is something to do with arts, and as I said, we don't look at arts as a full-time or mainstream career. So, well, here we are. Now, career paths we talk about, it's very simple. Career paths, we always have three. Yeah. Okay. So that was, so we talk about career paths, and career paths, it's a very simple thing. You always have, I mean, I'm talking about languages, yes, of course, but if you look at it, if you think over it, it is available for any career option that you choose, any career path you've chosen, any graduation field you've chosen. You always have three choices, okay? We talk about three choices. What are the career choices? Can someone, okay, fine. I'll go ahead with the career paths because it takes slightly longer to respond, and since you all are on mute, it'll be an effort to unmute, and then so it's okay, no problem. So career paths, we have simple three career paths. We have freelancer, and as a freelancer, now freelancer is a person who's not working for anybody permanently. Yes, on a project, yes, definitely, but not on a payroll. So the person chooses which project he works on. That's freelancer, and for freelancer, there are few fields which he can choose, and that is first is translation and interpretation. Now, interpretation and translation, I'll just quickly, briefly give you okay, translation and interpretation. There is a small change, a small difference in what exactly it is, and that is translation means conversion from one language to another in the written format. Interpretation is conversion from one language to another in spoken format. That's all. Then training and teaching, again, the same thing. There's a small difference in training and teaching. Training is generally for a professional person. You train them, okay, and you teach students. But for easy purpose, let's say, when you learn a foreign language in your office, it's a training. When you learn a foreign language in a classroom, it's teaching. As simple. You learn the same thing, you learn ABCD, but the place changes the meaning of it. Okay. And then we have, okay. And then we have two different perspectives, and that is international marketing and business development. Okay. Yes. Someone wants to ask anything?
Damodar, you can continue.
Okay.
We are going to mute them. If they want, they can make a chat box.
Great. Sure. Thank you, Asaram. Okay. So, international, not Intel marketing, it's international marketing, business development. Again, business development. We talk about business development countries. Okay. So, international business development for that matter. So, we talk about MNCs. So, these are the, so you take a project of marketing for some international brand in India, and that's it. Okay. So, international marketing and business development is from this perspective. So, these are the career options you have open for freelancer. And now, if you look at it, these all options do not have an age group. Okay. They do not have an age group. Or a gender specific this thing. They are not gender specific. Anybody can be a freelancer. Anybody can translate if they have the required skill. Okay, so that's why the name of the webinar is called "Anyone Can Learn a Foreign Language," because anyone can actually do all these things. Okay, then the next career path you have is employee or a job. Okay, so freelancer is by not being associated with a company or an employer for permanently, and employee is more of a permanent job where you have an office, go there, work, and then come back. Right, you get your monthly salary and everything. Okay, so that is, again, all these options are available in employee or job perspective also. And then you have entrepreneurs or a business owner, where again you have all these options. So, for example, Flat World Language Solutions is a company into translations, interpretations, training, and teaching. Okay, of course, we extend our services of international marketing and business development to our clients, but those are not our core services. Now, what happens is, entrepreneur, I have done, as Mahesh introduced me, I've done graduation in arts, in French literature, but still I'm running a company today. And the thing is, I can do that. I need not be an engineer or a doctor or something like that to be an entrepreneur. That tells me, that reminds me of a small example. Okay, if you are a doctor, you can be a freelancer. Okay, you can be a freelancer. You go to 10 different clinics, okay, and you work with all of them. Okay, or you can be an employee or a job. Something like you work with Sahyadri hospitals, or I don't know, some private hospital. So some private hospitals, and you work there as a full-time doctor. Okay, and then you can be a doctor entrepreneur, whereas Sarang, you.
आप क्यू सेशन ले रहे हो क्या?
Okay.
Sorry, so sorry.
No,
So
that's
sorry,
fine.
Samitra.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So a doctor can have his own clinic. He can work with a hospital, or he can have his own hospital. Just like that, a foreign language speaker can be a freelancer, an employee, and an entrepreneur. You need to look at it that way, and so that's why I put in all the same things in the three options. You decide what you want to do, and then you are on that path. Okay. Now, it's a small quiz, and now that we've learned or we've seen what is exactly learning and what is application, let's go to a small quiz. Most of you have seen this artwork shared by all of us about this webinar, and we'll be taking you to that now. Just 1 second. Okay, so very simple quiz time. I won't now. It's really difficult, but so I want you to think over and just point out to yourself, of course, because we cannot speak in this section. I want you to tell me, what do Cleopatra VII of Egypt, Nikola Tesla, P.V. Narasimha Rao, Pope Benedict XVI, and Jacqueline Fernandez have in common? Think over it. Cleopatra, Nikola Tesla, P.V. Narasimha Rao, Pope Benedict, Jacqueline Fernandez. I mean, besides they're all beautiful people, what is common in that? Now, going to the next question. Increase your lifespan without physical exercise or diet. How can you do that? Can you do that? Increase your lifespan without physical exercise or diet, or a proper diet. I mean, of course, you'll have whatever lifetime, but how can you increase that without doing all these things? Then, have you insured yourself of Alzheimer's and dementia without paying the premium to the agent? Think of it. And the last one is, do you have the international avatar of DAB services for all local callers? So it's a very simple thing. I'll quickly answer all these questions. What happens is Cleopatra, Nikola Tesla, P.V. Narasimha, all these people are polyglots. Polyglots, a person who speaks more than one or two languages. A polyglot. Like Cleopatra used to speak some 7 languages, Nikola Tesla some 8 languages, Narasimha Rao some 13 or 14 languages, including Indian languages. Pope Benedict, again, some 8 languages, if I'm not wrong. Jacqueline Fernandez speaks something like 4 languages. So these all people speak multiple languages. Yes. I mean, this is not something I have created or made up on my own self. It's just you can just go on Google and check this up. I mean, there's nothing wrong in that. I might not have given you the exact number of languages they speak, but yes, they speak multiple languages. Most of them more than 6 languages. So you need to think about that. Increase your lifespan without physical exercise or diet. We'll come to that. Have you insured? And all these, the remaining three parts, we'll come to that now. Benefits of learning a foreign language. We've seen the applications. Of course, those are benefits, right? Those are benefits, but now we're talking about benefits that we do not really measure in terms of money or time, like that. These are the benefits that make you a better person. Okay, in terms of quality, we're talking here. So the first thing, mind becomes keener. Why? Now, next one, memory is improved. Third one is boost your brain power. What happens is basically when you're learning a foreign language, you are basically restructuring the engineering, the chemicals inside. Okay, you're just rewiring the entire brain and the neural structure. And what happens is when you do that, you're using more and more of your brain and you're practicing it. It's just like your mind practice. The way you have your diets and your physical exercises for your body, you have these exercises for your mind. Okay, so memories improve. Why? Because you're using it more. For example, now when I think of, let's say, what do I have? A mobile phone. Okay, a mobile phone. I think of a mobile phone and I have 6 or 7 words saying the same thing in 6 or 7 languages. So it's like that, or actually more than that, because every language has, English has cellular phone and mobile phone. So it's like I know 6 languages, so I have 12 words ready with me. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to use more and more of my brain. Okay, and that boosts my brain power, that improves my memory, and that helps me to build my ability to multitask. So I do many things at the same time, and that's really helpful. Improve decision making ability, because you can think of the same thing. For example, the mobile phone, you can think from 12 different points. Now, for example, I can think from 12 different points. That means I am thinking from more sides and taking a better decision and making it fast. Okay, and it makes a person more flexible. Stop. It makes a person more flexible and open to other cultures, because you've developed this idea of learning a language, because language is a part of culture. You cannot know a culture without knowing their language. And so when you know a language, and you cannot separate language and culture. Okay, you just cannot. Okay, so a language comes with some culture, and that culture gives you a perspective of looking at the same thing in a different light, in a different angle, and that helps you become more flexible. You're a better person to understand others, and you're a better team person, team player. Okay, and that helps you in your career, in your progress, in your profession. Next one is the first language is improved, because most of the times when we learn a foreign language, we learn it. Uh, the first language we learn it just like that without even knowing it. It's fascinating to see my daughter speak Marathi. It's amazing the way she picks up the words, the way she is open, but she is not learning it from the point of view of a language like verb and then subject, verb, object, and then it's what adjective and adverb and proof. No, she's not learning it that way. Okay, so that's an approach of learning a language. And then there is, when you're learning a language consciously, then it's a different story. That's why your first language is improved. Then, of course, as I said, multitask or think from a better, all the better sides. Performance in other academic areas is enhanced. That's what is for specifically for students. Expands career potential. We've seen that. Dementia and Alzheimer's are related to memory. Okay, and since your memory is improved because of learning a language, you automatically safeguard yourself from these diseases. Okay, that's what the answer is. Have you insured yourself against dementia and Alzheimer? That is, have you learned a foreign language? That's the answer. That's the question, and that's the answer. Build self-confidence, because you can speak better. You have a stronger idea, clarity of everything that you do. And aids in self-discovery and self-actualization. These are the actually very deep and profound aspects of language learning, but then yes, they are. So that's what it is. I'll quickly go through some personal experiences and then we will stop here, because I guess I'm running short of time. Okay, so personal experience, I'll talk to you about what a foreign language has given me in all of my career, and that is work with multinationals only. Of course, we I have been working with multinationals only till 2016. As I said, after 2016, I started working with Indian companies more and more as compared to the earlier stage. And then we go to visit mind-blowing companies because it's amazing to watch those companies firsthand in Pune or in India, because those the technology is imported, the knowledge is imported, and they are building fascinating companies here. And it's amazing just to go there and watch that. It's amazing to see how human mind can grow and what can they do. It's really amazing to see these mind-blowing companies. Then you get introduced to world-class technology before they are toned down and introduced in the local market. Because many times when the technology is imported in India, they need to Indianize it, yeah, Indianize it a bit, that is toned down a bit, and then introduce in the market. Okay, so you get to know that technology firsthand from the first world countries, and it's amazing. Again, it helps you to grow as a professional, as a person, and as a human being. So that's really interesting. The next thing is find the difference what is happening in the first world countries and third world countries. The same thing, because you just have uh, you've got an exposure to first world technology, and then we're talking about third world technology. So that's amazing. And then never worry as the market flourishes in economic crisis. Okay, never worry as the market flourishes in economic crisis, because many times we have seen a big influx of work when there is a recession going on. So, for example, right now nobody is able to go out and work. So, but we are working. We're working because we have our computer, and that's our office. So I'm honestly speaking, I'm coming to my office after 2 months today, just for this presentation. So what happens is basically I can work from home, and so work from home is an opportunity for anybody. Again, for a housewife, for a pregnant woman, for adults, for senior citizens, for retired people, for students who are doing, they are learning something online these days. So it's a work from home facility 24/7, and that's where we are working now. So even if the economy is crashing everywhere, the vibes are really negative. Of course, we've seen some reduced work, but yes, compared to what others are talking, we are substantially better placed right now in economic crisis, because a lot of imported work is going on. A lot of Indian work is also going on. So it definitely helps you in flourishing when the economic crisis is invading, or is creating problems in the outer world. So that's about it. That's from my side about learning foreign languages. And now I'm open for all types of questions. Mahesh, I'm sorry I'm 10 minutes late, but I hope that's fine. And I hope you've got a lot of questions, and I'm really eager to know the questions. And then we'll keep it more interactive, so that more and more focused questions are answered. Thank you very much, and that's muchas gracias. That's Spanish. Thank you, and dhanyawad from Soumitra Mahajan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Soumitra. Now I would like to hand over to Mahesh Bagla for QA session.
Thank you, Sarangji. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, thank you. On behalf of all the participants, I would like to thank once again for delivering such a wonderful session, Soumitra. And I could really see and experience that you were into your full swing. And teaching is something which anybody can do, but training is your specialty.
Yes.
And you were really demonstrating your USPs and why somebody should choose and accept you as a trainer rather than somebody else. You have really demonstrated that, and I think you have done a good justice on that. So I'm moving towards the Q&A section of this webinar. I already have received a couple of questions on my WhatsApps, so I'll be taking one by one.
Okay.
And Soumitra, you can just throw some light on. First thing is that there are a couple of questions in the chat box also, which participants or viewers want to know. Is there any age limit to learn a foreign language, or maybe are there any barriers like location? If somebody is located in Bangalore or anywhere in India, and if he wants to learn foreign languages, so are there any gender barrier to learn the language? What's your take on this?
No, no. There are no limits. Of course, these days barriers are not in terms of gender and age. They are more to do with bandwidth and Zoom calls, safety and security, blah blah blah. Those type of barriers are there. But yes, definitely we're talking about age and gender. Honestly speaking, there are no barriers in that. We have had students of 9 years of age. We have conducted something like Firangi Sanskar Varga, which used to be, or rather, which still is. This year we are not conducting it because of the lockdown. But Firangi Sanskar Varga was an introductory class for kids of age group 5 to 11. So that age group is open for learning a language. And then we have had seniors. Now we have recently launched a senior citizens batch also for learning a foreign language. So there is no age and gender bar when it comes to learning a language, be it Indian, be it foreign language. And Zoom and all these applications have really helped us in reaching out to everyone. Location again is not a barrier. Probably the time zone, yes. We have a student joining in from Singapore. One student is joining from Canada. So we have managed our class timings accordingly. But yes, but no, there is no such barrier due to age and gender. Of course, I mean, I would say yes, there, to a certain extent, learning a language, let's say after 45 years of age, becomes a slightly difficult thing because we think that it is difficult for us. Okay, but we have 3 students currently who are 45 plus and they are learning language. Initially, it was difficult, no doubt, and I won't lie. I mean, honestly, there was a small hesitation, there was a small problem, but now they are gripping. Maybe instead of, let's say, if a course is of 50 hours, they will take 70 hours. I don't deny that because they have the, see, it's very simple. Kids have their hard disks empty comparatively. Whereas 45 plus, they have their hard disks substantially filled. So they have to make some extra space by removing some files, old files. So yes, it takes a little more effort than the kids. So don't worry about the efforts. Our trainers, I mean, we make it that way that the students are comfortable. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Mitra, thank you for sharing your views on this. The next question is, I am clubbing 2-3 questions here.
Okay.
Because viewers wants to know, are there any job opportunities for learning maybe a French language, Spanish language, or for that matter, German language, or are there any, apart from job, or any other freelancing opportunities or anything which you see or what your experience says so as far as German, Spanish and French language is concerned?
Okay. Okay, this is a question. You said you're clubbing 2-3 questions. That's why I was.
Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm clubbing 2-3 questions.
Okay.
So viewer wants to know, are there any job opportunities?
Okay. In
German?
these 3 languages.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. If you don't mind, what I will do is, yes, of course, I'll answer it very simply. Yes, there are a lot of opportunities. and understand. Let's look at it this way: you learn a foreign language, and you have more people, more career options than someone who has not learned it. Okay. For example, generally there are a lot of German companies in Pune. I mean, you can just go online and, I mean, even just 1 second, if I can. Uh, I was expecting this question. So, okay, I'll just put you to this slide here. I'm sorry. Okay, so number of foreign companies, I'll just give you a perspective, okay? These numbers are slightly old probably, but I've given you the links also if you want to check them. You can check those links. So there are 2000 plus German companies in India currently active. There are Japanese 1400 plus companies, there are 1000 plus French companies, and there are 500 plus Spanish companies working in India at this moment. So, and these are all real numbers. I mean, this is not something I have made up. So, what I say is, generally what happens is, generally when you go to any of these companies, they ask you to learn their language of whatever it is, basic or advanced level. But they ask you to learn a foreign language, their foreign language. And so it is really easy for you to be selected in any of these companies if you already know a foreign language. So, for example, I don't speak any foreign language. I'm BE mechanical, let's put it, and I go to a company called Mercedes-Benz, which is a German company, and I say, okay, I'm BE, blah 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 blah, and the interview goes well, and then there is someone like Mahesh coming in. He's also a BE pass out, and but he has learned German, and he sits with me, and of course Mahesh gets higher preference because he has learned German. Okay, I'm not saying from the point of view of sending him to Germany or something. I'm just saying sheer at the beginning level, you get a higher leverage because of foreign languages. So let's put it this way: if I have 2,000 companies in Pune to apply for a job, Mahesh with German and engineering will have 2,000 regular companies plus these 2,000 German companies to apply. So he gets a more wider perspective and opportunity. So these are the numbers for German, French, Japanese, Spanish. So yes, there are a lot of employment opportunities for these companies and these countries, these languages in Pune and in India. And nowadays, because of Corona and all these things, news is that many of the Europeans and foreign companies are shifting their base to India. I don't know. I don't have a concrete information which I can show you that. But yes, in the circles there have been talk about that. So whenever it happens, it happens. I'm not saying right now they are shifting like कल की flight लेके यहाँ पे आ रहे हैं आज. ऐसा नहीं है. तो वो जब आएंगे तब आएंगे. But then there is an extra opportunity there. Back to you, Mukesh.
Yeah, thank you, Soumitra, for being so generous in your response. Now, moving on to the next question. So, what's your opinion that which foreign language should a person learn in his or her basic stage? So, maybe the viewer wants to know in the age group of maybe let's say 8 to 14 years of age group, which foreign language you would recommend as a trainer or an expert?
Honestly speaking, if you ask me, I spoke about the purpose of learning a foreign language. So when you know the purpose of learning a foreign language or teaching your child a foreign language, you just know which language you want to teach them. Okay, for example, I am a father and I'm working with IT, and I'm in a company which is going to send me to Germany for a project for next 3 years. So the obvious answer is learn German. But those who do not have any of this reason, what they can do is they can just start teaching them a foreign language, any foreign language, which is easily available and which may be of interest to the parents as well as the kid, because the kid has to learn, okay, and it has to be approachable also. So some don't try to learn something कि ये मेरा पड़ोसी जो है वो कोरिया में जाके सीख के आया, कोरियन सीख के आया, तो मैं उसे कोरियन सिखा रही हूँ. See, what happens is if the padosi changes his place and goes to Mumbai, there are no easily approachable or available places in Pune to learn Korean. Okay, so then his language learning stops. Wherever it was, it just stops. It doesn't go ahead. And then you're like, yeah, अभी क्या करेंगे? अब क्या करें? अब तो trainer भी नहीं है, या फिर बहुत expensive है, या फिर, you know, there are a lot of questions and ifs and buts. Then there are a lot of barriers. Instead, if you say कि okay, ठीक है, German सिखाते हैं, because that is widely available in the market. German, French, Spanish, Japanese, these languages are easily available in Pune. Okay, so you can just ask for it and you can get that training requirement fulfilled. So what you can do is think from this point of view, that you just start teaching them without any goal. Just think of it, okay, yeah, he's in 8th standard now, or he's of 8 years of age, and he will start his career around 21 years of age. Let's put it that way. So he has around 13 years to go ahead. And a language takes around 3 to 4 years to be completely mastered, as in for employment purpose. So in 13 years, he can learn at least two languages, whichever they are. It's their choice. So there's nothing wrong in learning any language, just like that. Just start it, just take it till the end. That is the main point.
Yeah, thank you, Soumitra. The next question is something which would be your favorite one. So the question is, could you please elaborate as to how to join your courses? And I'm sure in these current times, you must be having your online courses. So how to join your courses?
Oh, well, you can call us, you can call me on my numbers. I don't know if I can give it to you, give it to the audience right now, or how is it? My number is 9823116012. You can just call me and we can fix our batch. We have a lot of batches going on right now, and it's not that we started off right now because of lockdown and everything. We started online training since, let's say, January and February. We started with our first batch in Jan, and we were into online teaching or training, but that was not the only thing we used to do. Now all our trainings are shifted online, compulsory. So there were a few students coming to a few batches going on in the training center here in our office, a few batches going on online, but nowadays everything is online. So you can just call me up and we can fix it up for you. Age no bar, gender no bar, level no bar. You can just come in and we can start your batch. That's not an issue.
Yeah, thank you, Soumitra. I'm just clubbing two of the questions in the interest of time.
Yes.
So, do you teach just the basics of foreign languages? That is one. So, and the second one is your institute.
The same. We have French, German, Spanish, Japanese, Chinese going on currently. We are planning for a Hindi batch for expats. So we're working on that batch right now. A few batches for Spanish and German introductory batches, Spanish and French for kids as well as for senior citizens. They will be introduced in a while. So we're working on that. And what was the first part of the question?
Yeah, so the first part of question is, do you teach just the basics of foreign language or you teach at a deeper level?
Yeah, we teach all the levels. See, there are generally 6 levels in any foreign language to learn, 5 or 6 depending on the language. So, out of those 6 or 5 levels, we teach at least 4 to 5 levels. And I personally recommend learning the last level of a language with a native teacher, or at least with a person who has, let's say, at least 15 years of experience of training or teaching a foreign language. It makes a lot of difference. It makes, and I realized it when I learned French and when I learned Spanish. I learned Spanish the last level with a Spaniard, with a professor from Spain, and it was a completely different experience to look at language from that perspective. So I always recommend. Of course, we conduct all the levels, but then I always recommend learning the last or the highest level of language with a native person. That gives you a completely different perspective in life. So we teach all the levels.
Thank you, Soumitra. So far, we have been discussing more about German, French languages,
Yes.
but the viewer wants to know, do you teach that Indian languages too? Because in India, many languages are there. If you go to north, if you go to south,
Right.
if you go to east, west. So, do you have expertise in teaching varied categories of Indian languages also?
No, no. Indian languages we have not started. In fact, we have been teaching Hindi only to expats only. We've not started regular batches for an Indian audience of Indian languages. We may start, but as of now, it is not on the cards immediately.
Got it. Got it, Samita. Thank you.
Yes.
So before I move on, I would request Sarangji to post contact number of Soumitra in the chat box so that everybody can use his contact details. Thank you. So the next question is, how good are online language training? Because there are trainings which are available on YouTube, Duolingo, Coursera, Udemy, etc. So vis-a-vis you teaching or a person taking online language training from these websites, what is your take on this?
Nice question, actually, a very good question, a very valid question in today's time, because a lot of people, a lot of online training platforms have made their trainings free till, let's say, 30th of June or 31st of July or something like that. So there are a lot of free content available on the internet. And what happens is, I call generally, now this is my perspective, this can be wrong, I mean, I don't deny that. But the point is, I believe that people, the students who are passing out of 10th standard this year, is the last analog batch, I call the last analog generation. Because they know a teacher, they see a teacher, the teacher is writing something on the board and explaining something. They have something called notepads and they have something called pen and paper. But now the thing is, the learning methodology is going to change drastically, is what I believe. And more and more online type of classes or electronic media is going to enter the learning process. And so I believe uh, the generations that are starting school this year, let's say, who is entering first standard now, will be a completely different generation. The point of telling you all this is that probably for this new generation, Coursera and Udemy are good things. Okay. What happens is they teach good language. I don't deny that. They are good. Their content is good. Uh, the Duolingo app and everything, they are good, but to a certain extent. And I wouldn't really recommend those platforms. Uh, Again, personal opinion, wouldn't recommend those platforms for initial levels of learning. Okay. As we go ahead, maybe after 1 or 2 levels, when you know how to read and write that language, it's easier for you to do that. And that's more passive. So, for example, when someone tells you how it is, how to pronounce a certain word, you just hear it 10 times, but you don't feel it. And so that's where the problem comes. So the learning process slows down a bit. And so I don't really recommend online learning in the first stage. It's good for practice also. I mean, you take a class, okay, take a regular live session of a person, be it online or in the live classroom, uh, and you use these apps and platforms as a practice session, okay, not as the sole learning source of your foreign language. That's my take on learning from these sources. It's really good to know someone thought of these things. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Soumitra. There are a couple of questions. People really wants to know what are the opportunities. For example, if somebody has done his graduation, let's say BCom, or maybe he has done his bachelorates from arts, and if they have done a further education, let's say maybe a BA, and along with if they have done courses in German languages or French languages. So what do you see that opportunities or maybe a future for these kind of a for these kind of a people or participants?
Okay. Good question. Again, as I said, there are two types of foreign language usages. One is mainstream, and the second one is value-added service. So, if you have done your graduation in engineering, doctorate, or in medical, whatever, law, pharma, whatever it is, and you know German, or you've done BCom and you know German, it's an added advantage, because, as I said in the first question probably, or in the first few questions, that you increase your employability. Okay, it's a very important thing. You increase your employability. You do not you may not be having that much employability. I mean, research has shown, if you learn a foreign language, 25% of your employability is increased. Now 25% is a big amount, because if someone is able to apply at 100 location, 100 companies for a job, you are actually employable to 125 companies. Okay, so your employability increases, and that's how it helps you. So if you're a CA, okay, now I have a translator who is a CA by profession and knows French. So she works with banks, she works with financial audits, she works with international expats coming to India, because she knows taxation and she knows French. So she can actually translate those, let's say, balance sheets or account statements, and then understand what is said or mentioned in that. So it depends. If you're a CA, if you've done BCom, you know accounting, you know French language, you can club this and join something like a BNP Paribas, or you join something like Deutsche Bank, yeah, or you join something like ABN AMRO. So these type of works, you can do that. You have done engineering. There is a whole lot of engineering companies in India, in Pune. You've done pharma, you've done law and a foreign language. You can have your own legal consultancy, wherein you're guiding the expats about the laws here, or you're guiding the people going abroad. So it makes a sense, it makes a difference with the purpose, why you're learning this, why you've learned it, and how you can use it. It depends on your creativity. How can you creatively use your skills, understand your skills, and use them to your benefit?
Thank you. One quick question, Soumitra.
Yes.
When would be a good time to call you for further details? So, what would be a good time to speak about foreign languages?
Oh, anytime from Monday.
Okay, cool.
Monday, between, of course, 10 to 6, or 10 to 5 actually, because after 5 o'clock I'm on daughter duty. So 10 to 5, you can call me anytime.
Got it, got it. So on
Yes.
any working day, 10 to 5.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
a good time to call you.
Yeah, and if I'm busy, I'll call you back. Don't worry.
Yeah, got it. So the next question is something which I also wanted to ask you while I was looking at your presentation. Although we get to know each other from a long time, but
Yeah.
I haven't knowing so much about you. So as you said that language and duration depends on the purpose of the learning.
Yes.
Are there any short-term courses, maybe quick bite type, without any specific agenda or goal or any kind of a certifications?
Yes. There can be, absolutely. As we have our Firangi Sanskara that I was talking about, it's a simple 16, 16 hours course, which introduces kids to a foreign language with a lot of activities, with a lot of multimedia and a lot of cultural exchange. Okay, so it's a 16-hour course. So we're not expecting any certification in that 16 hours. We're not expecting the kid to speak ekdam hard as German. We're not expecting that. What we're expecting is just to get introduced to them, to that culture. Probably after that, the student thinks, okay, fine, I would like to know more about this language or this culture. Then we have, as a master plan, we have three sets of Firangi Sanskara Varga in place. Okay, so that there is Firangi Sanskara Varga 1, 2, and 3. So we go on teaching new things, and then if the child wants to learn more, then they can join our regular courses. So that is how we work at it. So short-term courses, yes, we get a lot of professionals saying, I have to go to France on a project in next 25 days. So teach me whatever you can in 25 days. I'm not looking for any certification. Simple as that. I gave you an example during the presentation of going to China and cursing those people for Corona. That's a simple 10 hours course. You can do that. There is no certification required for that. The purpose tells you that. Okay, so that is how it is. And we have had students who have learned for 3 years with us, and we've had students who have learned for 15 days with us. So, and of course, there can be a time-bound certification also, that someone comes to me and says, okay, I have 1 month and I have to clear this certification, and I want to learn for that, and I have as much time as you want. So in a day, of course. So you can do a 4 hours course for 1 month and get them the certification required. So we can do that too. We can move
Got that.
already. Yeah.
Got that, Soumitra. Thank you so much. So we'll be taking couple of more questions before we close this session. So this one is interesting. So the poster you shared said, prosper in the time of economic crisis. So what do you mean by that?
Prosper in the times of economic crisis. Yeah, that's what the last point in my presentation was. I basically spoke about. See, let's face it. India, we get a lot of FDIs because they can afford it here. Now, what happens is there's a lot of inflow of work from foreign countries, because we can do it at a better rate and at a faster speed because of the time zones and everything. So when there is some type of recession going on in Europe or Americas, let's say, a lot of people their translation is not a core activity of any company except translation companies. But so what they do is they outsource that work to Indian translators or Indian translation companies. We have had translation works from Turkey, from Poland, from UK, and those were translation companies. They had so much of work, they had to offload some of their work, so they contacted us and we worked with them. That was one thing. And also we have had opportunities to discuss business with foreign companies in the times of economic slowdown, because they wanted to offshoulder some of their tasks. Okay, so except the very core and confidential and important information of the company, they would outsource the entire work. And so that's where we come in picture. And so even if there is an economic slowdown going on in the outer world, we are kind of prospering. Okay, So, for example, right now we've got a lot of requirement. Now there is an economic uh, slowdown going on in our country. So people are being laid off, unfortunately. And what happens is when they are being laid off, they have time. Or the persons who do not want to be laid off, what happens is they want to increase on their skills. So they call us. They call us and say, okay, I want to learn a specific language for a specific course, a specific level, so that my CV is a bit stronger than my than my colleague sitting next to me. Yeah, and so that's why there's a lot of inquiries happening about uh, learning a foreign language. So in both the terms, in learning as well as application, in the slow times, we get a lot of work. So that's how we say we prosper in the times of economic crisis.
Got it, got it. Very well explained, Soumitra, that was. So the next question is, apart from the obvious tourism and teaching, or as you said, engineering and IT, so which are the other sectors you can work in with foreign languages?
You name it and we have it. Okay, just a second. Again, I was expecting this question, so I have this mentioned here. Sectors to work. Apart from IT and travel and tourism, the sectors to work are pharmaceuticals, because a lot of drugs like I don't know the name of the corona drug, which is, what is that? Hydrochloric chlorophene or something. I don't remember that.
Hydrochloroquine only.
Yeah. So that drug is being exported from India. So that comes under pharmaceuticals or life sciences. So there's a lot of export taking place. Similarly, India is one of the largest exporters of medicines. So there is a lot of medicines going out of the country, and that's where we come in picture, because the other party, the receiving end, needs to know the composition of the drug or the usage and the hazards and do's and don'ts of the drug in their local language. And that's where we come in picture and we translate those documents for them. So a lot of sectors to work, life sciences, information technology, as I said, a lot of IT being handled in translation also. Then e-commerce, as I said about Amazon converting. Now, even if you go to a simple Paytm app on your phone or an Amazon app on your phone, you will see an option of Hindi. Maybe it's a beta version as of now, but yes, they are giving you that option. I think Paytm has more than 6-7 Indian languages. So what is happening is they are trying to convert those entire apps or websites into local language so that more people can access that easily. Okay, then they just want to remove the language barrier in that. So that's how information technology, travel and tourism, obviously. Fashion, a lot of fashion. Government sector, a huge investment is coming in government sector. And a lot of technology is being imported in government sector. Not only in defense, but in general. Like we have this Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train project. What happens to it now or how it will be taken up now is a different story. My point is we have these type of collaborations having in between countries, and there is a lot of technology exchange, there's a lot of document exchange, and we require foreign languages as well as Indian languages in the government sector. So yes, there are a lot of government institutions requiring this. Law, legal, again for the same. Defense and security, engineering, market research, finance and banking. Then we have marketing and advertising, because a lot of imported brands are coming in, so they need advertising. Literature, obviously. So a lot of so these are the sectors, to name a few. Let's put it in perspective. In engineering, you have something like if we say only engineering, we have renewable energy. Then we have aerospace, we have electronics, IT, railways, machinery, and these are all the sectors you can work in the engineering sector. And so there is, and so on and so forth for every sector. So there are a lot of sectors that you can work with foreign languages in India.
Thank you. Thank you, Soumitra. That was really very precise and very much insightful. So the next question is this a standard industry or an organized sector in which you are working?
Oh, yes. I wouldn't say a completely organized sector. We are working on that. Recently, we launched our Confederation of Translation Companies in India. So we're working on that. And we have that body, government body, which will be helping us streamline many things in the translation world, translation industry. So yes, of course, it is an. Let's put it this way: it is an organized sector. Okay, let me just check. See, quality and standards. So there are some quality standards such as EN, that's American, that's European EN 15038 in Europe, Canadian CGSB 134, ASTM in the USA. So these are the quality standards, just like you have CE mark for any manufacturing or engineering product in Europe. Similarly, we have quality standards defined for translation as well, and so it is an organized and standardized sector. Of course, we're talking about North America and Europe, but slowly it is coming to India also. So yes, we are trying to organize the sector as much as we can, and we're working on that. But yes, it's an organized sector.
Yes, thank you, Soumitra. So one quick question. What's the time period for the introduction of a language without any certification course? I think you may have covered a response to this in your previous questions, but would you like to say it again?
Introductory sessions that we conduct, I'll talk about that. We have a 30 hours introductory course, okay, without any certification. So that's a simple 30 hours introductory course, which will last for, let's say, 15 days, because we're talking about 2 hours a day, but it depends. If you have only 1 hour uh, every day, then it will be for 1 month. So we're talking about roughly 30 hours, 25 to 30 hours of introductory course. And that's the duration. Duration depends on the students, because these days students are really busy. I mean, they have their online classes, and then they have their online dance class, and then online, I don't know, musical instrument class. So they're really busy, and then in the evening they probably go out in the park of their society, in the garden area. So they're busy. So it depends on that. And professionals, they're working more than ever because a lot of work is going on.
Got
So
it.
yeah, so introductory courses are like that, 25 to 30 hours.
Got
Block
it.
hours and done.
So maybe a last but not the least, a question which I am asking for you is, how many approximate months are taken at your institute to complete a level like maybe A1, A2? So there are various levels which you were earlier referring to. So how many months are typically required?
Wow, nice question. I'm glad again that someone asked this question, because what happens is people generally do not understand this. What happens is 4-6 महीने का कोई course करते हैं, and then they are like, yeah, अभी now my salary has to go up. No, I'm 25% more employable. No, it doesn't happen that way. It takes time. It takes time, definitely. And it's not about me saying it, or it's not that we take more time. It's just that we're talking about a skill. Okay, we're talking about learning something so that we can use it for our benefit. Now, what happens is there are levels. Okay, elementary, intermediate, and advanced. 3 levels are there, and each level takes roughly 1 year to be completed. Okay. So if you want to say you have learned completely a language, then it will take roughly 3 years. And I would say, don't look at it as a time spent. Look at it as a time invested in yourself. That's what the first point of the presentation was. Invest in yourself, because now probably you've realized that you are the only reliable source of investment or point of investment. So you need to start investing in yourself more on your skills and everything. So, so I suggest putting in that much effort. But of course, after completing 2 years of learning one foreign language, that should give you that 25% more employability. That's a good standard for at least that for any language for that. Of course, the more you learn, better for you. But 2 years should be sufficient.
Okay. Got it. Got it. So, thank you so much once again. Before I hand it over to Sarangji for concluding this today's session. So, thank you so much once again for. I personally have really enjoyed it, and I came to know so much about the languages, especially the one which you teach. So, thank you so much, and over to you, Sarangji.
Great.
Soumitra,
Thank you very much, Mahesh.
Soumitra,
Yes,
you want
Sarah.
to share something? Like you said, you want to share something.
Oh yes, that's the simple thing. That's a very small thing I would like to share with all the participants, and that's an Excel sheet actually. That's a PDF format file. Sarang, do you have it?
Yes.
How will you share it with people? Because it's a
Yeah.
simple.
We can take the email addresses and we can share with them, or we can share directly over here also. But it will be going to end soon. Session will be going to end soon. So I
Okay.
request all to please drop your email address in chat box,
Yes.
or
Please.
they can ping your email ID if you can share.
It's a very simple thing. These are 15 words in Spanish language, since there's a lot of money heist going on around. So a lot of people are coming up with Spanish language interest and everything. So I suggest I've noted down 15 words in Spanish, which are simple greetings, hi, hello types, which I would love to share with you all. And don't worry about the pronunciation, as I've mentioned those pronunciations in Devanagari script there. So yeah, something like this, something what you can see now, what Sarangi shared. It's a quick learning, 15 Spanish greetings. So we have something like what is said and pronunciation in Devanagari. You can just read it that way, and that will be really that's the easiest way to learn those 15 things.
Yeah. So we are going to share this with all of you. We just request you to please drop your email address in chat box so we
Yes.
can share it.
Yes.
If you all want, I can also share here also.
Mhm.
Yeah, if I want, I can share in chat box. We'll do that also. Yes. Okay. Soumitra, so I should conclude now.
Yes, I'm done.
Okay,
Yes.
no problem. So give me a minute, please. I'm just
Yeah.
going to share few information about the next session,
The
what we
next
are
session.
going on.
Yes.
So just sharing the link. Yeah. So thank you, Soumitra, for the valuable your time and valuable information that you shared. It was really very informative session. And
Thank you.
thank you very much to Mahesh Bagla sir for taking QA session. It was also very well managed. I think all questions had been taken forward, and Soumitra has given very fantastic answers of that. So for participants, this knowledge series, as we are going to organize, we are organizing this series as a learning series. We are sharing knowledge. We are a group of business owners who together working from long time basically. But this time due to COVID, we thought we all are at home, so we should learn more. So that we have started this series, and it's almost two series. After that, you can see there are two more series, two more sessions left. Fifth session is on tomorrow only by myself, Sarang Bhandari, and we'll be speaking on internet security to protect yourselves and your data on internet. So it's something like securing your data on cybersecurity, speaking about cybersecurity. Then sixth session is on 2nd of June. It's by Dipali Talreja on resume writing. It will be helpful for all, I think, new who is looking for new job or who is writing resume, who is starting his resume writing. So student can take benefit out of this. So this our session, and next session as already shared is tomorrow at 5 p.m. If you want to register, please drop in chat box or you can just contact.
Sarang.
Yes. Yes, Amita, please.
Yes, just wanted to thank you for organizing this wonderful session. It was really interesting and amazing to talk with all of you. And the questions were amazing. Thank you, Mahesh, for introducing me as well as moderating the question and answer session also. You put it really nice and I really loved it. So thank you very much and all the best, Sarang. I know you've been into internet and website solutions and software solutions for long. And I'm also really looking forward for your session tomorrow. So
Great.
I wish you all the best.
Great. So for just I have already shared the information about tomorrow's session, and also I would like to thank you firstly to today's session. Samitra has already done, and this session sponsor. So basically, this all session is free just because of all session is sponsored by the business owners. Really, thank you to all. Yeah. So that's all for today's session. We are going to conclude and end this session now with all mission of Soumitra and Mahesh Bagla.
Thank you, Soumitra. Thank you, Sarangji, and all the best for tomorrow's session. I know you are going to rock.
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.